Cha-cha, and we're live. How is everybody out there? Hope you're well. Look, we have an extra person way down there in the bottom.
Yes. Although he also has the significance of being in the big box as well, so you can tell he's a special guest because he's the thumbnail.
Well, not that special, but good evening.
Yes. Nick Cookov, Intrepid, and Hin Frontier, and one time in New Voyages.
One time in New Voyages, which was fun, actually.
And an unreleased Stargate film, I believe?
No?
Or unfilmed? Because there was a trailer release that you... Or one of your friends...
You mean Polaris?
No. There was like a Stargate teaser that Steve, I think, posted. And I was like, it's on a mountain. It's like...
Oh, no, it wasn't Stargate. It was just some original thing.
Oh, okay.
You know, that was one of those things that... it was going to be one of those things that Sam was like about a year old. Not this Sam, obviously. And we thought we'd just go and shoot something with the script. And we kind of came up with an idea, and I ad-libbed the whole thing. And then Steve sat on the footage for the last 10 years. 11 years. So, yeah.
It's fine. We'll reshoot it. I'll de-age you. No one will know.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's like to have people... I don't know what it's like to have people sit on footage for years and years.
It was just supposed to be a bit of fun, and yeah, now he wants to do other things with it and stuff, and he has computer problems, and he chips away at it occasionally, and it's just one of those things, unfortunately.
Yeah, whenever you up ambition, it's like, oh, that's going to take a few more years now. Well, shit.
Well,
why are there 9 delays? Why is there 9? Yeah. Well, temporarily. I mean, my God, that's the epitome of I kept improving it. I think I remade it in essence 3 times. So, you know.
Yeah.
And it's better for
But we're back, guys, and we're here to talk about the Indiegogo Trek Shorts 2022.
Yes.
The link is pinned to the top of the chat if you guys want to check it out and check out the perks. We'd appreciate it. And keep in mind that during this live, if you super chat, we will match every super chat. So your super chat is actually worth double, and we'll contribute that towards the Indiegogo campaign. So
that's
you can help out.
That's pretty amazing because we all need that support, and it becomes double. Huzzah! So I'm gonna start sharing.
Oh, yeah.
But this time, Stuart, you have to vamp by yourself because there's another captain.
Well, I got to do my spiel though.
You do? Okay, sorry, Nick, shut up.
I'm saying nothing.
Hit like, everybody, and don't forget to check out our links down below. We have links to the Teespring and the TeePublic store. We got some cool Trekyards merch. But one of the best ways to help us out is simply hitting that like button. If you want to join the channel, there's a join button as well. Just check out all the different options. It's kind of like a monthly subscription way to help out the channel. Plus, it helps the YouTube algorithm because they know that, you know, it shows the YouTube that you guys are interested enough to join a channel and subscribe to it. So if you can check that out, we'd appreciate that as well. Or you can help us on a monthly basis in another way by going to Patreon/Trekyards and helping us there. There's lots of ways to help us out. And just watching and sharing the videos is also very good. So do what you can to help. We'd really appreciate that. And it's awesome to have Nick here, to have a special guest. Hopefully we'll hear some good stories and some cool stuff. So I keep forgetting, what is your character's name? Captain
Daniel Hunter.
Daniel Hunter. It's a great name.
You know,
Captain.
Stuart, I was just about to say, I really love the LCAS thing behind you there, but then I saw you Maximilian, and I like that even more. Maximilian and Vincent, that's cool. Very, you know, I have great memories of that movie as a kid.
Yeah,
I say a kid.
thank you. I got
I was a
Vincent,
kid.
and I got Vincent and old Bob. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Old Bob as well. I didn't spot old Bob.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's right there.
yes.
Hard to see.
I saw Vincent, but I didn't spot Bob. Nice.
Yeah, I love Maximilian. I've wanted a toy of Maximilian for like my whole life, and I missed out on the original one that they had, which now is ridiculously expensive to get. But then they came out with this one, and I'm like, hell yeah! And that's why
he
it's
was
always on display here.
Scary as hell in that movie, actually. It was pretty intimidating. Yeah. It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. It's underrated, but it's also, I can see why it didn't do very well as well. So it's one of those.
I would love to see them do a remake, actually. But a good remake.
That's the key, right?
Yeah. But
yeah, Maximilian was terrifying.
Oh, he was. I think one of the reasons that some of these movies don't get remade, and Forbidden Planet's a prime example of this, because they are so iconic that it's like, how do you remake it without fucking it up? I don't know. But yeah, it's a great movie. I love it. I've got a big soft spot for it.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
The score for it is actually really good as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, look, Samuel's back.
What were they getting up
You
to?
can stop talking about him now.
It's gonna just be trash, isn't it? Just constant. Oh,
look, Ozzy throws in a super chat of $2.
Thank you.
Superior Commander, I have 3 starships now.
Woohoo!
Well, I mean, sort of. He donated for a Ships of Trek poster, so you got a poster, Ozzy. Thank you. £50. Thank you. 1-5.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Ozzy.
No, I was pleased. All of our name ships went pretty damn quickly, which is great. We offered 10, and I look forward to those weird names.
What about Captain Casey Stewart, who wanted one from last night?
I mean, hopefully he's here. I didn't see an email on the page, but he's here to say howdy.
Okay, because he just missed it, so he really wants one.
Yes.
So.
But do you want
another one?
Charlie's comment?
Charlie, can't watch the live, but thank you so much for all the great content you create. I almost always watch your lives after, but I can say they're just as good after the fact. Well, that is awesome. Thank you. But you can't really interact with us then, but that's okay. But thanks for joining us just to say that. We appreciate it.
Yes, very much so. But yeah, so we got. I will say we got 2 new perks in the Indiegogo. One added just for the live, because I like to add a new one for what we do here. Because as you guys saw, I wasn't surprised, Nick. I don't know if I told Nick the Packlet dock. Did you know about that before?
I did know about the Packlet dock. I didn't know about the perk.
Okay, cool. Where the hell's my move to the side button? But yeah, as you guys...
Daniel Vance says, Nick is such a great captain. He just has a look that says integrity and perseverance.
Well, thank you, Daniel.
I would agree.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not sure most of the people that know me would agree with that statement, but I'll take it. Thank you very much.
So as you know, guys, we have these fun little perks for crew members. So for every single short that this ship is going to be involved in, which is more than we originally pitched, so we'll be there a few times, we now have a USS Titan crew member perk. For a mere £15, every single time we see the Titan in a film, in any capacity, you will be in the credits, which is great, because there'll be more names in the credits, because it's often the same names. And Titan's fun. I mean, Titan was never one of those going to be in the films, but we were to buy the model. He gave it to us very graciously. It's a beautiful model, the one used by Eagle Moss, so it's kind of as close to canon as you can get, except the ones that were canon, but those are slow models, and this is better. So, but yeah, several films of Titan, because Titan is sort of late era. But yeah, there's a couple. So if you want to be credited in Titan, if you love the Titan, then that's a fun little perk. Yeah,
Titan is ace.
Yes. Awesome. And the second perk was the name of character, which I added because I thought, you know what, ship was fun, and I always like inventing the names when someone calls off to their bridge officer. And if you have like an RPG character in Star Trek Online or something, then hearing that name in context by one of our captains ordering, I think would be a really nice moment. Especially if I know it's a perk, then I'll say, oh, I'll mention 3 times in the dialogue, etc. So yeah, £40, and you can name any character. If you want to go ridiculous, fine, go ridiculous. Or yourself. I mean, let's be honest. Do you want your name in a Trek short as a character? That's kind of cool. I think, honestly, if I was... Well, no, my name's Cockins. Probably not. But if I was me with a different name, I would also do this perk. But yeah, I mean, simple, fun things. But, we're at... What are we at? 15%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot of money. So it's still a lot of money.
Every little bit helps.
It does.
It really does.
Because I'm like budgeting up the hotels for the next 2 shoots. It's like, oh god, because I got to do Emma and Nim and yours. It's like, oh god, many hotels.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's such a money sink.
Matthew DeFritas says Valsac Doc is my favorite. Great acting, great CGI, and great shipborne. I agree. I really like that one. I like the concept of it and the whole hunter maneuver, which wouldn't be called that, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, Stuart, here's talk to the man himself. Throw your 2 cents in. Yeah.
It was
fantastic.
Matthew, thank you, and guys, thank you. But it was just such a lot of fun to make, and I mean, Sam said this before. It was one of these things. It was a little bit lightning in a bottle. Yeah, and Sam has, as a director, an uncanny knack for actually getting a decent performance out of me. So, never underestimate the power of a good director, because I can be a little bit hit and miss. I was watching Far From Home the other night and cringing at myself.
Far From Home?
But hey, Long Way From Home.
Thank
sorry.
you.
You were
Sorry,
in
not the one
Spider-Man
with
Far From
Spider-Man,
Home?
the one
Yeah,
with
exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, so I was like, oh no. Yeah, okay, I was directing myself. That's why it's bad. Fair enough.
Well,
but yeah.
But it's not bad. It's just that obviously you don't know what they're giving as performers, whereas I know, like, if I know what I need from Nim, then I can help you to work with me to get that. Versus by yourself, there's no contextual things, etc.
Yeah. I mean that one for me is just a little bit disappointing because I just think that I'm one of the weak spots in it. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I'm going to be in an upcoming fan film. So if anybody super chats $10, you get a sneak peek at what I'm going to be in it's coming out Monday, probably. You said
aiming for, yeah, yep. I mean, within the next few days, as soon as it's finished, it's out.
Aren't you appearing as Murph?
No. But if everybody wants to see what it is, $10 super chat, and we'll show you guys. But I just wanted to say on the directing, like, I hadn't had Samuel direct me before, and he directed me for this audio, and it was I really love the way he did it. It was so seamless and he was very easy to work with, and I didn't think he would be. I worked with him for 8 years now, and he can be kind of demanding, and so I was kind of nervous going into it, but he made me feel at ease, and he got hopefully a good performance out of me, and it was really easy to adjust what I was doing based on his direction. So yes, Samuel is a fantastic director, for the record.
He is. He absolutely is.
And I never say anything nice about Samuel. So
and if you ask any of the cast from Trek Shorts, I think they would kind of echo that. Oh, I mean, they have echoed it. I mean, we've discussed this. Yeah, everybody's quite happy with the way Sam directs, and I think we're all very happy with the kind of performances he gets out of us. And it really does make things a lot easier, a lot smoother, and it makes the films just look so much better. It makes us look better because we don't look terrible.
But how do I do it different to you've directed, you've been directed, Nick? How do you say I differ or am especially good, as it were?
I think there's two things that particularly stand out. One, you know how to get performances out, and you know what you're looking for, and you're actually very good at getting that out of actors. Not everybody has that knack. And some people are much more on the technical side, and some people much more on the acting side, whereas you're kind of covering both bases. So you know technically what you're looking for, but you also know performance-wise what you're looking for, and you know how to get it out of the actors. And a lot of directors can tick one or two of those boxes, but they don't always tick all of them. And on fan films particularly, if you're on a professional film, you've got 20, 30 different people overseeing these things. On a project like Trek Shots, or even my own films, we've got like very few people trying to oversee so many things. So it's really difficult for most of us, if we can't tick all those boxes, to get everything right. Whereas, to be fair to you, you do tick all those boxes. You know technically what you're doing. You know performance-wise what you're looking for. It's just that's your strengths.
Speaking of, how many takes does it usually does every scene have multiple takes, or do some scenes just work the first time?
It's a bit of both, really. Even if we nail it the first time, I think Sam usually goes for an extra couple of takes just to be sure.
Because we don't
which I think is sensible.
Because we don't really work on a take system. We don't say try take two. Because I've directed this recently with the Star Wars things I'm doing. It was kind of a case of first version, we just let the actors do whatever their interpretation is, and then I would then do, not line by line, but if any line I had a specific, try it this way around, I would then give a direction, and then they would kind of adjust based on that. And I think we sort of vary how we do that, because obviously none of you know all the films, and it's not your job to keep the entire even film in your head, let alone the scene. And so if I know, but that one line refers to this thing from this film, and you're being a bit too light, I'm like, well, you in 5 years would appreciate being darker on that. I've got to kind of shepherd you in that way. So it's, but I think Nick will attest that when we get it, we know we get it, and sometimes that can just be, yep, that moving on, because that is absolutely. I mean, Alexa. I mean, you were there when directing Alexa. When she nails it, she's like, "That is the take." And there was one take with Emma 2 days ago. She had one take. I was like, "That's perfect." But at that whole moment, we're done. She's like, "Really?" It's like, "Yep, no, I don't need a safety." I was exactly right. I hope I don't regret that, because I might do.
How often do you like edit takes together though? Like multiple takes, to take the best pieces out of each.
Oh, for the docs, all the damn time. Because docs, you kind of have that flexibility. God, I don't know. I mean, for things like long shots, you kind of have what you have. Oh, it's so dependent. But definitely some. But also knowing when to pause for dramatic effect. You know.
I knew it was coming.
And I honestly, a lot of the Nick doc, like, it's knowing when to let the moment breathe, as essential as letting it play. Because a lot of people just linearly just play the scenes, but that's not really how. You know, and especially as Nick was acting in between the lines, that's very, very important, or at least a bit around the lines. And so if he's lingering, that's both him reading the audio cue and waiting, but also he's staying in character. And so that half-second linger is just him waiting, but actually, he's mulling over his destiny. Okay, there's a next line. Close enough, you know.
And Sergeant Montgomery has gifted 1 Trekyards membership to Mr. Daniel Vance. So congratulations, Daniel.
They can do just 1. That's cool.
Trekyards membership. Yeah, it just depends how long people have been here and stuff. Matt usually gives 5.
Yes.
I don't know
Hi, Jeff.
what the option is for that. So,
but yeah, questions for Nick. We don't often get a legend of fan films on.
Ugh, not a legend.
how'd you get started in fan films? While we're waiting for other questions, how long you been a Trek fan, and how'd you get started in fan films?
I have been a Star Trek fan as long as I can remember, and we're going back to the 70s here when I was a kid. So I have been around that long. So back as far as I remember watching the animated series, first run in the UK.
Wow.
So, you know, at least back to kind of like 5, 6 years old, I was into that. I was also into Space 1999, actually, because that was airing around about that time as well. So yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan, and it's been with me pretty much forever. How I got into fan films, and this is a fairly well-known story because I've told this a lot, but I used to run the local Star Trek club where I live, and I was getting busier with work and had a lot less time to spend on it, and people were not as interested in coming along, because what we used to get, people would send us videotapes of Star Trek episodes from the States, because you used to wait years between stuff, and then laterally we were getting them off the internet and stuff like that, but less people were showing up, and there was kind of a core group, and we used to come along and we'd have a good laugh and stuff, but then you get like 4 or 5 people who were just watching the episodes, and we'd be laughing and we'd be going shh, and we're like, you know, we're just going to wrap this up because it's not really working anymore and there's not the interest. So we did, but I kind of said, you know, let's do something fun. We used to do role-playing, Star Trek role-playing games, and I said, why don't we do an audio novel? It could be fun. We could do that. And it was Dylan Feeney who's done our scoring, and he said to me, why don't you just do a fan film? I was like, oh.
Why don't you just do a fan film?
Oh yeah. I mean,
those are the words.
Steve Hammond kind of chipped in and said, well, I've got a video camera, and it's like, and it kind of snowballed from there. And you know, I was familiar with fan films. I'd seen Hidden Frontier and Starship Exeter, and both of those were kind of, oh, these, you know, these guys have got something there, you know. So, and I spoke to Rob Caves a bit about it when we were trying to set things up, and he was really helpful, and some of the guys from Exeter actually. And we just kind of cracked on with it and thought, yeah, you know, it'll take us a year. We can do a film. Nah, it wasn't that quick at all. But we did one, we released it, and went, that was fun. Let's do another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And yeah, so it's just been, you know, it's been a hobby for me that's just been a lot of fun. I mean, I'm a huge Star Trek fan, and for most of us who are making fan films, I think there's a lot of wish fulfillment to it. I mean, we want to play in that sandbox. We want to put the costumes on. We want to shoot the phasers. We want to fly the ships, you know? Make out with the green and brown girls.
Well, and that's
green and brown boys, depending on your preference.
And that's a great tangent, briefly, because, and this is a reference to the short we can tease with you and Emma in the forest. I mean, that both of you were fully prepped for that one, and it's rare that we had good sun, good vibes, good energy, very awake, full costume, and not like fan film costume where you've got a Playmates phaser, no tricorder, and you're holding it off. No, you had full everything. Both of you, full tricorder, full phaser, and you both suit the costumes. I mean, that vibe, that's as close to real as you can get, because you're not just there for this, you're actually going to be doing it. So when you're scanning, it's meaningful. We can all LARP in the forest on free time, but that must have been, certainly me looking at you both, is like, well, I'm just, these are Star Trek actors. I mean, that must have been really cool.
Oh, it is awesome. And I mean, we would, by the way, Ryan, thank you. That's very kind of you. Also, Donnie, thanks. I'm glad you like that film so much. We were discussing, because we had a shoot just this last Sunday. I mentioned that to you, Sam. And we were discussing that very thing, because I was asking some of the cast about things, and I was doing a little bit of interviews and stuff. And we were all saying, it was a stressful day towards the end because we were struggling to get everything. We did get everything we needed, but we were kind of rushed towards the end. And
always happens.
It's always kind of like, there's so much work to do. There's so few crew, so much to get through. It really is a lot of hard work. And I'm not paying people. Sometimes I'm covering their expenses. I'm generally buying lunch, but they're not getting anything out of it financially, and it's eating up a lot of their spare time. So you're like, why do you come back? It's like, because, and not all of them are fans. Some of them are just involved because they're actors. They're local theatre actors or student actors, and the general response I get is, sometimes it's hard work, sometimes it's frustrating, sometimes we get mad at each other. But when they see that finished film, they're like, that was great. That was worth it. And, it is tough. It is a lot of hard work. And sometimes we do get grumpy with each other. I can be quite grumpy. But we also all get on really well. Most of the time. There's always exceptions. But it's a good group. It's a good crew. And we just have a good laugh together. So it's just a lot of fun. And it's a great hobby. And, yeah, I will probably do it as long as I can get away with it. I'll probably be stumbling around with my Zimmer frame doing this kind of stuff.
Well, that's the unfortunate byproduct. Now we're de-aging. You can do it for a lot longer than you could otherwise. As scary as that is.
Can you de-age my Zimmer frame?
I mean, you put some green on it, probably.
Well, that's a fair point, yeah. I'm hoping I don't need a Zimmer frame. We'll see.
And Sergeant Montgomery, who's been a member for 24 months at the rank of captain, so thank you so much, Captain. Commander, I thoroughly enjoy your Trek short films. Excellent props, storytelling, CGI, and the best is actors who truly love Star Trek. Thank you.
Or at least they truly love being there. Because, Nim and Marcus, they're the passive watchers, but they're fully committed when they're there.
Oh, yeah.
But speaking of, let's look at a behind the scenes of Nick and Emma on location on Trek Shorts. Let's see what the hell they're going to say. Oh my god, the lighting's so much better now. Hi, guys.
Figures. Hello.
Hello.
Well, how's it going?
Good, I think.
Yeah, pretty good.
I think it's basically, you both look fantastic in uniform together.
Oh.
The colour does pop a bit. Not to diss first contact, but this is just so nice.
I do like, yeah.
And it amazes me how Nick Curran, look at the costume, look at the colour of her costume on this phone. That's perfect blue. That's the exact right colour. And it's like teal. That's insanity. Sorry, back in frame.
Okay.
That is really crazy. So how's it going? Like, vibe-wise, how's the filming going?
Yeah, good, I think. We're finding our feet.
It's exciting, yeah.
How's it compared to the green screen?
Oh, so much better than green screen.
It definitely puts you more in the moment.
Although the wind is a pain in the ass.
The wind is not, in terms of ease of production.
Yeah, I shouldn't have eaten that burrito last night. Oh, wait, no, we're talking, I didn't actually have a burrito last night, it's fine.
Well, it's me that's meant to have the bad stomach. But bit close to and both polytricorders up. Talk about the tricorders. Talk about the props, because these are fancy.
I've got the little child's tricorder here, because apparently I'm a little child. And
I'm protecting
this is the big one.
You'll
You'll notice the difference. So these are perfectly suitable for filming. This is a Playmates tricorder. The Playmates tricorder was really quite a fantastic thing in the day because there was nothing like it. It was amazing. But you can get little electronic kits that turn these into fully, all singing, all dancing, flashy, lighty things, and they're really cool. But they are a lot smaller than the actual screen accurate props. But they still look pretty good. But for close-ups, you're better with this thing.
until you put them together, it's perfect. And it's like, oh
yeah.
And in fact, scan the camera because it'll show the camera how much the blinkies are drastically stronger on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, they're totally. They are way stronger. Yeah.
But the thing is, if one's far in the background of the two, you won't notice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you still get that sense of life from them.
But works fine.
And not many fan films have both. Let's be honest. Well then, guys.
What a team, eh? The props, man. That's almost why you do it, isn't it? To see those blinking lights.
Oh, blinkies are good. We love blinkies.
There's one shot in particular where they're out of focus, but they're just visible, and it's like, ooh. Ooh. Oh, Stuart's. Ooh, different. That was a decibel lower. Interesting. So
Blinkies.
Yes, I was proud
Love
when
our toy.
I was proud when Stuart got that because it's like, ha, he's got one in his vicinity too. Good to know.
Yeah, mine makes noise and that annoys you.
Well, yeah, you can't use it, but you can probably do a dimmer switch. Like there's circuit boards. You can probably add a circuit board thing inside to dim it.
You can.
Yeah. Then it's very practical. So what was that like, Nick?
mess with
Seeing yourself, God, a year. Was
God,
that this
I can't even
summer?
remember that conversation.
Was that last
I
summer?
mean,
No, it was this summer because of yeah.
Yeah, it was this summer. Yeah, but I mean, it actually feels longer ago than that, which is strange. But I obviously remember filming it. I don't remember much of that conversation we had there. Yeah, burritos.
Oh my god.
That's why the behind the scenes stuff is so great because you're in it in the moment and you're like living it, but then you're focusing on the work and then you get done and it's like, and then you look back on it, you can't remember all those things and you watch it again. It's like, oh my God, it just takes you back. So yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I love to see stuff like that actually, and it really does. And again, it kind of highlights the whole this is kind of fun and we have a good time because it's nice to have those memories to look back on. So yeah, I love seeing stuff like that.
Especially as the finished film is so polished that it's like, okay, that's Hunter being Hunter, but also the fun is the fun around it, you know.
Well, I haven't seen it yet, so I wouldn't know.
God, that ending, man, that ending is going to be so good when we get that. Oof.
Oh yeah,
That ending. Sorry.
I want to see bloopers. Do you have bloopers of Nick? Because that'd be hilarious.
I don't, but there are many. and
it probably involved
that was-
much swearing.
yeah, and then Alexa surprisingly swearing mother effer. She's almost the first person to swear as a blooper. Yeah, you wouldn't think, and it just throws an F word. It's like, oh, okay, yes, Cap. No bollocks. So
I swear all the time too when I screw up our
bollocks.
scripts. You know that though.
Yeah.
Swearing's healthy.
Yes.
Ooh, Royal Gonzalez, 2 good comments, Stuart.
Commander, have you gotten yourself those tubes with blinking light? The most important machine in the whole galaxy to use in your shorts.
I've been tempted to get one done, but not quite yet. Not quite.
And he also goes on to say, do you actors recognize a change in your posture once you put on those uniforms?
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's unavoidable. The TNG uniform particularly, actually. That one really kind of like, yeah. It definitely does affect your posture. And it does help. It does kind of help you get into character, actually.
You can only be so silly in uniform, at least at the start. Then you get really like used to it, and then it's just you're wearing whatever you're wearing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even bat an eyelid with it now. I've always been pretty used to it because I've been dressing up at conventions since the early '90s. So I'm past the kind of feeling particularly. Although when I'm out in public doing it, I feel a little more self-conscious. Right enough.
Would you believe, Stuart, that every single time we walk to a location, he's like, "Right, jacket on," and Alexa's like, "Right, uniform. He's just read the script." Yep, she's just entire different vibe. It's great. He's like, "Oh, Nick, babe, Nick."
That's because Alexa's a professional and I'm far more self-conscious.
Yeah, I'd be self-conscious too, I think. So yeah. Matthew asks, how did Nick meet Samuel, or how did Samuel meet Nick?
Nick, go for it.
Destination Star Trek.
Actually, also, when was the first time you heard of me then? Because I know I heard that.
Oh, before
story.
that, because I was familiar. I couldn't put dates on it, but I was definitely familiar with you. So Destination Star Trek 2016, 18. It was one of the Destination Star Treks.
Mhm.
It was one of the ones in Birmingham.
Mhm.
Because we've got, I think it was 20. It might have been the 2018
I'll
one.
find the picture.
But there's a selfie of like a big group of us, and it was like, yeah. And then we kind of chatted on and off a bit, and then you'd kind of volunteered to do some visual effects work for me to save one of my films, which you did. Lovely, thank you again. And then
I remember the post because you had, it was such a tone of, this thing has been burning a hole in my heart for several years. I just need some shots. Really. And I said,
oh my God.
I said to you, like, how many did you, like 7? I was like, I'll get you by like two weeks. Is that okay? And you were like, no rush. I'm like, no, that's fine. Like, that's not a rush. That's just me producing them. And you had and then at that point, I remember you zoned the film into basically finished really quickly after that, because I guess you were like, oh, CGI takes years. I'm like, do you want it in a fortnight?
I mean, it's funny because we've had a few people do CG for and we still have. There's a lot of people do CG for us as well. But the guy that did a lot of ours in the early days, right up until almost that film actually, was Lee Andrew, and then all of a sudden he just disappeared. His Facebook presence went. He just disappeared off the face of the earth. He is still alive, because I occasionally see him pop up on Twitter once in a while, but. Yeah, he just doesn't have anything to do with anybody anymore. And it was just, I don't know if we burned him out or, I don't know. No idea to this day. Lee, if you're watching, get in touch. You know, I don't know.
So how'd you know about Samuel, though? Was it through Trekyards or was it through...
Oh, yeah, totally. Trekyards for sure. Because I was certainly aware of Trekyards, and I've obviously watched it. And not like a dedicated, I watch every episode, but I definitely chipped into... What?
Nobody watches
every episode. I mean, for instance, as well, it's like I was actually just watching one the other day because I was researching a ship. I mentioned this to Sam as well. So it's like straight went to Trekyards, right? They must have an episode about that. Yeah, there they go.
Look at Sam's hair. Will be the reaction.
So yeah. So what was the question again? Oh yeah, I remember. So basically, yes, I was, and I knew he was doing effects work for other projects as well because I'd seen his name pop up in pretty much everything at that point, including Avalon and...
Well, that didn't exist yet.
Avalon, certainly.
That No.
I'm sure you were working on Avalon before you were working our stuff.
No, I'd only done Federation Files and...
I must be mixing up my timeline. Well, I'm old, so that's my excuse.
Too much time traveling.
What?
Stop that.
And there's us. There's our first picture together. Before we were friends, I knew of Nick.
Must be Federation Files I was thinking of. Anyway, I knew about you from Trekyards. And obviously, and again, I might be getting the timeline wrong here. I'd obviously seen that you'd been going off to...
yeah.
You'd done your big US trip. And
we did, yeah. I just went through the pictures. That was after that.
James Corley sets, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was clearly familiar with Sam. But we didn't really cross kind of wires much. Up until after Destination.
I haven't met you in person. You weren't at Birmingham when I went, were you?
He was. No, he was. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I was. Yes, I was. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did.
You were wearing a
video
dress uniform, right?
I was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And here's me in costume briefly at the convention when I had a shit costume. I still had a good tricorder, but everything else was shit. This is during Trekyards, the shit uniform that was so... This is when I bought it. This was temporal anomaly. So this already was 4 years old when I had it. Bought
not that bad.
Bought exactly for my measurements when I was 18. To wit, I didn't realize you should always get at least a few centimeters more than your weight. So that's exactly my size. But you know, I tried. I did all the things. Just, you know, it's still shit. But there I am, young me. I look better now for sure.
We all look better now.
Yes.
Speaking of, guys, we haven't had a super chat in a while since Ozzy.
Guys,
so just keep in mind, guys, that every super chat you donate will help us get to our minimum for this live, but we'll also match it to put towards the Indiegogo campaign to help out Samuel's films. So your super chat is actually worth twice as much.
We still have our minimum, guys.
It's worth 20, and nobody's put in the $10 super chat I asked for to get the reveal of what role I'll have.
You need to see what Stuart's going to be. You really need to see what Stuart's going to be.
Yeah,
Also,
you'll be happy. Maybe, I don't know.
Gorgonzola. I have done the Picard maneuver so many times. I have no idea how many it is. It's like off the charts. It's constant. Doesn't matter which costume I'm in. Picard maneuvering it. I'm gonna do it on this one just because.
Yeah, I've talked about this before, but the Defiant short, the first take, first scene, I Picard maneuver, not realizing that's what I'm doing because it's just what you have to do with that elastic. I'm like, it was a real. This is not a comedic moment. This is real. And Nim didn't get it. Dad got it. I was like, that's great. That was real. But Nick, here's our first group picture. Explain who the team is, because this is when I look people that I know, as in from online. Hello, team. Before we have to go, quick, let's get a picture. Okay, bye. Good to meet you all.
So, that's me. Oh God, I look fat. David Reed, who played Sakaris. That's Luke from Star Trek Unity. Some guy in a tie. I don't know who that is. And that's Alan Score, who plays Admiral Prentice on our production.
Nice.
And it's nice you got to fly.
Ooh.
Well, fly. We got people down from Scotland. Yeah, it was great you all got there.
I did. Well, yeah. I mean,
That was
David
nice to
and
see.
Alan both are fans, and they have done conventions in the past. I've been trying to convince them to go to Vegas and do the Vegas Con
Oof,
for years.
that's a commitment.
And they have been to Vegas with us in the past, but they've never done the convention. In fact, we all went to Vegas years and years ago and went to the experience together.
Ah,
All of us.
forever jealous.
That place is missed.
You got attacked by Borg. You lucky shit.
I did. Yeah.
Mark Lawrence throws in that $10 and says, "More monies for shorts. Here you go."
Thank you, Mark. Much appreciated.
Excellent.
And I guess you got to reveal what I'll be in the next short. Then, I guess.
do. And Stuart, why don't you set up the scene without spoiling it? And obviously, then it will be spoiled once it's shown. But set up the scene without spoiling it. How would you summarize your part and what the shot looks like?
I grovel to a legend.
Well, thank you,
And,
Stuart. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you.
Not you. And I'm very, very classically lit and displayed on a view screen. Let's put it that way. That's all I'll go with.
I like that. I like that classically lit. I like that. All right, here is the official Stuart cameo shot. And can anyone guess whose shoulder that is? Nick, what do you think is happening here?
Well, I can't see the picture yet, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah, delay.
Yes. And also, it's bloody.
Well, while we're waiting,
There we go.
Ozzy throws in $20.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Here's the
Audie.
other new starship, USS Skeleton Hands and the USS Koala. Besides the USS.
Oh, that would be.
Ozzy, it's 50 on the Indiegogo, not 20 on here.
I'm gonna guess that's Picard's shoulder.
You could be right.
So you might have met real fake Picard, Nick, but Stuart's met real fake CG Picard.
And I'm a groveling Ferengi.
Yes! How'd that feel, Stuart, when I pitched you this role?
At first I was excited, then I thought about it and go, I'm kind of intimidated now. Went on and bought like cheap vampire fangs because it was just before Halloween that you kind of. And I tried to put them in to like have like the teeth thing going on, but like for some reason every time I had them in, I was like gagging because I don't know. So didn't use the teeth, but hey, hopefully it paid off and it was good. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a bit of an ambitious sort of shot. It's like, yeah, let's just do a shot on the Enterprise with the captain, with the entire bridge. Good. Yeah, this is a smart choice. 4 character rigs with everyone moves. But yeah, you got an Andorian there. You got Data. That is the real Data 3D model. The out of focus he is. And I thought, you know what? You never see classic white background Ferengi. That's absolutely the get out of jail free for that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
Cool.
a rather nice Ferengi model from one of the games that
You're nothing if not ambitious.
Yes. Well, this one worked. I got another shot in the short that doesn't quite work because CGP only works so much. So I have to cut that one shot. I'm like, damn it. It's a good shot. Well, it isn't a good shot, as well, it doesn't work, but in theory it was a good shot. But
Quark's long lost cousin. Maybe. Maybe
I
on a moon somewhere.
I mean, does Stuart have a backstory for him? I don't know. Maybe Stuart designed a cool. Don't know.
So Quirk.
I absolutely did not know.
Quillock. Dear me. But
Foley.
But although in fairness now, Nick could now bring this Ferengi back. Now he's fan film canon. That's the thing. Now part of this.
I actually have a Ferengi headpiece.
Well, just ship it to Canada.
Which, funnily enough, I bought at Star Trek: The Experience.
Oh,
Nice.
that's cool. But yeah, we'll be seeing Nick's performance very soon, and hopefully more to come. But he's a little bit further away than Nick is. Nick is still far away. Nick is still expensive to get down, but Stuart's a bit more expensive to get into the studio.
Yeah.
He'll be a couple of
Stuart
bucks.
wins.
Yes.
Stuart wins that one.
That's one thing I don't want to win, though. It'd be nicer.
Yeah.
But you win anyway.
Very true.
Thanks, man. All right, so now I promised people in the description that you might have some insights as to what's coming up that they can be excited about. So is there anything that you can say that's non-spoilery?
Sure.
Either one of you?
That's a great question. Let's see what I have. 'Cause I did prepare.
Oh, there's one I'm really looking forward to, which we already know the title of. Time Heist.
Oh yes.
That's going to be incredible.
That could have been anything. It's true. There's so many...
I can't tell you much of anything about that at the moment.
Well, let's play the trailer. I mean, we'll talk over it. Let's put the trailer on the screen. Wait for that. So we're apparently supporting Dune London for 30 years. The ad. So there you go, Dune. Free advertising from Trekyards because you care. So Nick, think back to when I first pitched this film to you all those years ago. When I pitched Time Heist.
Which one are we talking about?
Time Heist, Vija. Think back all the years ago that I...
What, last week?
Think all those weeks ago. So how did this feel when I pitched this one to you? This of the newest of the Trek shorts.
I thought it was crazy and
Good.
incredibly ambitious. No, I thought it was a really cool idea actually. I'm an old school fan, and I remember when there was no Star Trek other than the original series and the animated series, and TMP was a big deal. I didn't see it until, in fact, it was actually the third Star Trek movie I saw, because when I was a kid I didn't get to the cinema very often, so the first movie I saw at the cinema was Star Trek 3. And my only knowledge of 1 and 2 were the fact that I'd read the books, the novelizations.
Oh. Well. Okay.
So, and I think I finally saw a motion picture on TV, and then Star Trek 2 on TV. Might have been video rental. Anyway, so I have a big soft spot for TMP. I love the novelization, and I really like the movie, flaws and all. So getting to play in that little sandbox is really quite exciting to me. I always wanted Kirk's Admiral's uniform. I always wanted one of these. So now I have a reason to buy one.
Oh no, what an excuse. What a shame.
I know. So yeah, I was really excited about the idea, and I mean, it doesn't really usually take much to twist my arm to get to do these things, but yeah, I was all on board with this one. I think it's a really cool idea. I'm really excited to see what we're doing with it. I haven't seen a script yet, but I know I'm going to be seeing one fairly soon. So I'm excited to see what Sam's going to do with it. And I'm excited to play in it. And also, get to command the Defiant. I mean, seriously, how cool is that?
That was a
curveball. Also, I
curveball.
get to work with a couple of actors I really like and I like working with. So hey, it's
we already
it's a win-win for me.
We already announced who's in the cast, so you can talk about it just fine.
Yeah. So both Nim and Emma are in this. I think might be some others appearing in it from what you've said. And I've worked with Nim a lot over the last couple of years, and she is a joy to work with, and she's a great scene partner. And we have quite a good laugh on set. And occasionally drink a few glasses of wine. Emma, I have worked with twice now, I think. And similarly, again, she's a great scene partner. She's just a lot of fun to work with and bounce off of as an actor. She is, yeah, she's just great. She's got a lovely energy to her, and she's just a genuinely nice and interesting person. So again, just great fun to work with. So and I haven't worked with the two of them quite directly together. So I'm really looking forward to the vibe we'll have. Hunter has a very different vibe with Reed than he does with Keeley.
Radically different.
Radically different, yeah. So it will be very interesting. And Hunter's got quite an important connection to Reed, actually, which you will see in one of the upcoming films, which I'm not sure if that's one Sam's going to tease tonight or not, but it's one that I'm particularly looking forward to. And actually, he has teased it tonight because you've seen a couple of photos from that already. So that's a film I'm particularly looking forward to because, yeah, Hunter has quite an impact on Reed. And I think there's a certain... You can expect to see a little bit of Hunter feeling a little bit of a mentor type relationship there. So
as ill qualified as he is.
Oh, totally ill qualified, which is totally different from his relationship with Keeley, who there's a gap in rank between them, but they're much more peers.
And yet,
in a way,
yeah.
And yet,
yeah.
But again, they also get on very well. But Keeley's not in any way, shape, or form afraid to call Hunter on his bullshit.
And this is post that film as well, so this is like proper. We've created a rapport here.
But Hunter certainly likes Keeley, and he likes the fact that she calls him on his bullshit. But then Hunter generally likes to surround himself with people who call him on his bullshit. His entire crew do that, and that's kind of his thing. Hunter's no Picard. It's like his crew. He'll have people around and he'll say, "Captain, you're being an asshole." It's like, oh, okay, fair enough.
Yes, I would expect some of Keeley doing that as well. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah. So I've got a lovely vibe with both the actors and the interrelationship between the characters, and seeing that play out more on screen. I'm really looking forward to that, especially in that setting, which is really exciting to me.
Yeah, it was definitely one that I had the idea because we just... I was teasing that I was going to show a different film that I always said, but I didn't say because I haven't talked about it yet. But, you know, what I was showing and not showing, we showed the Dyson Sphere in the Indiegogo. There's another one I was going to show near the end. And I said to you and I said, Stuart, I said several people, you know, there's these titans of Star Trek. And what have we not done yet? And despite, you know, the budget needed and it's always extra, etc., it felt like a weird shame not to hit the last titan before we stop. Because that would be a hell of an achievement. Because they're all organic where we do them. These aren't, look, we fight V'Ger. It's like, well, no, we don't. Or we do fight Doomsday Machine, but it's not that simple. So they've done in creative ways. I thought that would be such a testament to bring a V'Ger story to life. Given that no one's done that, as far as I'm aware. I mean, Nick would know better than I think, in the old films. I think V'Ger's pretty much untapped.
I can't think of any at the moment. Yeah. I really can't.
I don't know if Stuart knows of any V'Ger in any...
I don't.
I know Star Trek Online just did a huge V'Ger subplot, which I'm very excited to... I like seeing clips of, because it's Wesley Crusher's in it. But then how do you do it? Because I didn't want... Because Doomsday Machine is another Doomsday Machine. There's always going to be another one, that's fine. The other thing that I can't talk about is another of the thing, which I can't talk about.
I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, I'll say to Stuart as well. There's only ever going to be one V'Ger. And that was very key. And I also didn't want to change anything. So how do you tell a story inside TMP, which we've never done before? We've never done a direct present into past non-interference story. That's actually new for us, which is great because I always try and do a new sort of story. Because now you've got the time rippleness of don't interfere. And Hunter has a affinity for time events and distrust, etc. But also, it's like, yeah, he would understand all like the huge ramifications of every butterfly, so that would be fun. And yet he's ordered by Starfleet to do it, which is a weird situation to be in. For any Starfleet officer. I mean, I know Kirk was ordered time travel, which is why I feel I can do the story. But like to be ordered to go back in time. I mean, I'm sure Stuart. I mean, well, what do you think as a Star Trek fan? If you saw that on Lower Decks or Prodigy, how do you feel as a pretty rare thing to happen? How do you feel?
I think that'd be very cool, actually. And the fact that Hunter was chosen, I mean, that says something about what Starfleet thinks of him, honestly. Because usually you'd send, like, I don't know, flagship captain, like
That's
Picard,
true.
to do something like
That's
that.
Picard. Oh, he's busy.
Yeah.
Picard's
Who's next on the
Picard
list?
was busy. Everybody else was on
Who's next
holiday.
list? Cisco.
Jay way
He's a
off.
prophet now.
They're all on
Yeah.
Riser at the conference.
Scroll down 20. Hunter. We'll use him.
Keely's
Everybody
moved
else was
He was right at the bottom of the list.
because Keller's moved up north and Harriman's not captain yet, and yeah, that makes sense.
No, I think it's a fantastic idea, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out because we've kind of got some tidbits of ideas here and there.
Well, we
like
we changed some small stuff. We talked about it and we changed some things. So yeah, we absolutely. I don't know how it's going to factor in. So if it's going to necessarily stay, because it's got to make sense. But although actually, Stuart, side note, because you on a live made me look at the video game files for Bridge Crew, you got me a Romulan, which I didn't have yet. So that, I don't know if that was intentional, that you sneakily got me a Romulan, but that seems, that worked. that worked right there.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
It was just a gold mine of content I wanted you to check out. So, and Donnie says, I'm so hyped about Time Heist, a little more hyped than the final season of Picard, to be honest. That says something right there. So,
yeah.
don't let down Donnie. He won't give you a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Oh no.
We will certainly do our best.
Yeah.
But hey, if you want to, if you want to chip in and help us make it, please do.
It's
And remember,
link's
everything
up
you
there.
give tonight, every super chat tonight, doubles up.
because that's nearing
Please
£1,000.
chip in.
Cause that's nearing £1,000 to shout that, and that's not including Nick has bought his own costume, etc. So if you add those on top, he's very kind because he gets to keep it. So it's a Nick costume. Yeah, it's expensive. Mounts up because it's fine if you're doing one film, but when you do so many, it's like, well, yeah, the one film expenses mount up. I'm just so
Oh god, yeah.
nervous of how much I can write for this. Because we've got 2 days, great. Everyone's booked for 2 days, and you're obviously the full day. But we've only got, let's say 9 days to learn. But I mean, you're not going to learn. Nim will learn some. Emma will learn some. So
Well, I'll learn some.
Okay, some good, some.
Are you filming in 9 days?
Well, no, once I get the script, it'll be 9-ish days.
I'll have to buy a ticket. I'll come in. I want to be in this one.
I mean, do it. I'll you have got a costume that could get you in it. Just.
Yeah.
But obviously, the auto cue is the God save the Queen of it.
It's such a great tool when used properly.
Yes, but you also need you want those scenes of multiple conversations. The banter is with the extra banter. Although I'm gonna pitch/say this. I want the first scene as kind of mirror to the other film to have everyone in a dress uniform again as an excuse to wear those. Because I think that'd be a nice. I mean, you know what the real first scene is, but the first present day scene will be.
Oh wait, so I actually get to bring my dress uniform down and wear that in one of your films finally.
Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah. Because I like the idea of maybe someone's promotion and we're all there, DS12, or another Starbase, but me and Emma fit the same jacket, so so I want all four of us to be in the scene, just being able to swap off. So I'd be like cameoing in the scene, but not really in it. Just yeah, because I want to set up the relationship with Keely and Reed right from the start, because I know what it is, but we've never explored it except in one scene, 2 scenes in Convergence. But this is kind of like skipping that a bit. But yeah, I want to, because it's just fun, because then like you'll be more free as a party, and then they'll be quite, but Reed's more friends with me, and I'm more friends with Keely, and I barely know you, and well, I did talk to you once. We have one scene together. We have one scene together. I don't remember what we said at all. Sorry.
And Sergeant Montgomery throws in $2. So thank you, Sergeant Montgomery. Will we ever see the Defiance deflector warhead?
Well, I hope not.
The big jettison pod at the
Because
front.
that look ugly as sin without that, I think. I think it would look terrible if we had to do that. But thank you. Yay, $2. But this will be fun. And we have to build some 3 models of the uniform from TMP, which is a bit of a... although you've both seen my Kirk CG test.
I don't think
Yes,
I have
I have.
actually.
In the transporter room.
Maybe I have. No.
Oh.
in the transporter room.
Yeah.
I've seen him in a much better location.
What? What do you mean?
With a certain droid.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, true. Fine, you saw both. That is true. I could send you that instead, Nick. Okay, yeah. Let me send. Well, yeah, but it's not as in canon. Let me dig that one out and send Nick the. I feel like I would have sent this to you.
You didn't.
Maybe you
send it
didn't.
to
I
me.
just don't remember because
I feel like you'd remember it.
Nick's old. How old are you, Nick?
I am old.
By the way.
52.
Oh, okay. You're not that. You were born in 1970.
This is the second time somebody's asked me that in the last 24 hours. I'm like,
And he was less shocked, which I think is less.
I'm only
fuck
4
you,
years
man.
younger than you. I'm only 4 years younger than you, so I'm usually the oldest one when we're talking to people.
I'm so tired of being the oldest one.
Well, I mean, you know.
I'm not the oldest one amongst my group of friends, though, so that's okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? $20, and I'll throw this teaser in to the chat. Send to Nick now. This is a freaking great teaser. It's a proof of concept. Send it to Nick. $20 is absolutely worth seeing.
Oh yeah, you did show me that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Is that worth $20 for someone to give to see it? Because
Yeah, that's totally worth it. Look, woo,
pretty
woo.
Jesus. But yeah, that definitely was a fun proof of concept in that as well. God, what else have we filmed? So that obviously we've done. We've got another doc involving the Excelsior, which we've both forgotten about because that was an actual side note.
You shot so much stuff, really, and I'm in a reasonable chunk of it as well. But I don't know all the stuff you shot, but I mean, you shot so much stuff. I guess it must be really difficult to keep track of it all.
I mean, they all exist in the timeline as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the smallest ones, like the one that we did that's like 1 minute long. I always forget about that one because it's like, Nick, say 5 lines. Okay, we did it. That's a fan film.
Yeah.
I always get the names of two mixed up because they're both quite elaborate names of the. There's Fleeting Moments of Peace and the other one. I don't remember. But it's the Jacob one, and then there's the other one. Fuck. I don't know a couple. Yeah. I'm not. I mean, I'm both excited and not excited for your full de-age projects because it's one of the most satisfying things I can do in any given project is do that because you very quickly get used to how you look as young. Very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's very rewarding. But I think there's 3 films you're 100% de-aged.
Mm-hmm.
And that shuttle one is going to be very cool when it's finished. I mean, the shuttle pod one, that's really cool. But really difficult.
I know which one you mean. Yeah.
I did film Marcus' Convergence.
I'd forgotten about that one.
I filmed Marcus for that, and that was great because he's so pissed at you in that. And yet not. Yeah. That was satisfying. Well, I still need to film the other 2 people. I believe they're both in it. Yeah, lots of interconnectivity. And several timelines as well. And we actually have that film with you and Nim, which is the only... There's 2 films. One I might have to abandon, which is very... because of Robin.
Yeah.
Which is weird because, I obviously had to cover Nim's expenses. I mean, that's budget spent. And that was the last film she learned lines on properly. That was the last one she had time for. And the other film is the 3rd real short I'd written, new short, where you and Nim are in an alternate timeline but because now we have other things happening, it's like, well, where the fuck does that go if it's alternate timeline? I sort of have a way to go for that, but doesn't quite fit anymore. Yeah.
How many are in development?
Oh, 20 plus. I mean, that's what we say. So 6 already out, 20 plus in development. There are a plethora, and obviously no one knows all of them because you guys don't necessarily talk by yourselves. So
No.
you know, what are the Nim solo ones, the Nick solo ones, the Robin, the Alexa solo ones. You know, there's a plethora.
Captain Foley ones.
Yep.
Bright Star Line, I loved it. It was great.
Bright Starline.
I'm
Comment.
responding to comments.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
yes.
talking about that
Sorry.
tomorrow and tonight because I have a live tonight about that Prodigy episode. So.
I thought it was kind of cool. I mean, as I said earlier, I mean, I grew up with the original series, and it took me a long time to become a next gen fan. It took me a few years to become a next gen fan, but there's so much to love about that episode of Prodigy. It's just such a it's totally a love letter to the show. Much like Trials and Tribulations, it's very much a love letter to the original series.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about.
So I did feel
TOS
kind of bad
Yeah, that's
what
what
they
the
did
guy
with
said.
Yarovic in it, but hey, no.
Yeah, we got some answers from Nick, or from Aaron about that, by the way. Some of our questions, Samuel. I don't know if you watched the live where he was on. I was giving him shit for all the plot holes.
No.
He answered answered most of them pretty much.
I mean,
Like why Garovic was alone, why, what was going on with the shuttle, why it's the Galileo, not the Galileo 2. So, yeah. I can give you the answers now real quick.
Sure.
It's the Galileo because they replaced the Galileo with the Galileo. And after the loss of Garovic, Kirk felt so bad that he didn't want to have another ship named Galileo, so they named it Galileo 2. And Garovic was probably on a test mission or something where something went wrong and he got thrown off course. It wasn't bucking the rules, kind of going down by himself kind of mission. It was definitely an accident.
But why didn't Kirk rescue him?
He tried. He couldn't find what happened to him. They searched. They only have, as like in Galileo 7, they only have a certain amount of time they can do those kind of things when they have other things going on. So Kirk had to give it up, unfortunately. So, because he knew Garovic so well, because of his father being his captain on the Farragut, and da-da-da-da-da. So he was very upset about it. That's why the Galileo became the Galileo 2. So it's actually kind of an interesting... Aaron's pretty good at coming up with answers for that kind of stuff. So
He's a fan.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Which is sad when that stuff can't make it into the episode because the episodes are half as long as they should be. Yeah, I said that on my chat with him. I said it's just that when they have so much story to tell, then I brush up against the only 22 minutes.
Yeah.
You sort of feel the lack of time now versus the first 10, which were like romps. They didn't have as much going on because they just didn't. Now it's like, oh, there's more to tell.
It definitely does feel like, these episodes could definitely be longer. But hey, I'm happy to get what we're getting.
Like at least 30. Don't necessarily don't have to go 40, but the full 30 would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah. But in the chat, who wants to see the Protostar in a fan film? I mean, who would donate for that?
I would.
Yeah. See, Nick, do you want to see the Protostar in a fan film? Do you care about the Protostar?
Oh yeah, totally.
What about the Dauntless though? The new Dauntless.
All right.
Nick?
Definitely.
I can do without it.
Fair enough.
Guys, we have 43 likes. I want to get 7 more likes, get up to 50. Keep the super chats coming. We're quarter of our way to our minimum, so if you guys can help out, remember that your super chats are worth double during this live. Whatever you contribute, we will match and put towards the Indiegogo campaign to help Samuel's fan films. So you're actually supporting his fan films and Trekyards by super chatting, and it's worth double. So super chat if you're able to. We'd really appreciate it. And get some questions for Nick here.
Yes.
Because he's a busy guy and he's joined us for this. So
well, shall I play another?
I assume he's busy.
Shall I play another clip then, behind the scenes?
Please do.
Yes.
All right, let's find the next one. Let's delete that one first.
And yes, Bright Star. Galileo was in the Immunity Syndrome episode after Galileo 7. Yes. So it's already confirmed that it was replaced with the Galileo, which was in just All the World's a Stage.
All right, so next about to time travel into the Voyager era.
Sounds to me like you're running away from the truth.
Harriman, stop.
Pause there's quite nice, actually.
You're the one who put an entire planet's future in jeopardy. Have a little humility. How do you humility? You. Use the tip of the orange shoulder. Gold shoulder to gold shoulder.
Well,
Gold shoulder.
Gold shoulder. I guess
have
I
the
had my
chance.
answer. Sounds to me like you're running away from the truth.
Harriman, stop.
Pause there's quite nice, actually.
You're the one who put an entire planet's future in jeopardy. Have a little humility. How do you humility? You. Use the tip of the orange shoulder. Gold shoulder to gold shoulder.
Well,
Gold shoulder.
Gold shoulder. I guess
have
I
the
had my
chance.
answer. Sounds to me like you're running away from the truth.
And of course, note that is Lieutenant Harriman with no beard. What rank is Hunter? Lieutenant Hunter. Just pointing there.
It's Commander.
That's what I meant. That's what I was saying in my brain. Do you want to tease what's happening here, Nick?
So, as I remember,
Do you
because
know
it's been a
what
while since we
happened?
filmed this, Harriman's been a very naughty boy, and I'm telling him off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which led to a feud of many years. Well, not from Hunter's point of view, but left to Harriman holding a little bit of a grudge for some years afterwards.
And because Trek people live quite a long time, long old time.
Why would he be holding Book's cat? That just seems silly.
No, isn't that Queen?
No.
Isn't she a queen?
Cat's name is Grudge, but she's a queen.
Good
I
point.
hate that.
No,
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it does set up what the kind of relationship is between Hunter and Harriman, and it's certainly a fractious relationship. Both of them don't think they've done anything wrong, but they're both. Well, Hunter's not really pissed off at Harriman, but Harriman's definitely pissed off
Well,
at Hunter.
he gets more pissed as he's hitting
yeah.
this brick wall of. Who says you're right, sir?
Yeah, Hunter was right. Harriman was wrong.
I mean, the audience will
Harriman
judge.
Harriman got off lightly.
Battle of the H's.
Actually, to be fair, Hunter, I would say, doesn't necessarily think Harriman was wrong.
But he's got to do his
Right.
captain duty.
No.
Yep.
Second in command duty.
Oh, second in command duty.
Yes. I think we start to film your captain actor. Yes, we haven't filmed that yet.
Oh yeah, you were gonna do that, weren't we?
Yes,
We need to organise that.
we do. De-aged, yay.
Yeah. Yeah, we should be able. Yeah, we'll do that soon. Actually,
Just no beard because de-aging, beard doesn't.
he doesn't have a beard.
Yeah, I
Fine.
didn't think so. But this is one where Nick is entirely de-aged the entire film, and in theory, Marcus should be too, but I don't want to do that for both characters the entire film. He gets away with it fine. But this is fun because it really is an audience perspective piece. You will pick which side you're on.
Oh yeah.
It isn't really clear cut. I know the last scene kind of puts you in one direction, but Harry Styles just has no real say on this film. But
I was going to make a joke like that. Good job.
thank you.
The thing is, they're really both right.
Well, how often is Picard right when he makes a bold decision that could go horribly wrong? Well, it's right because the writers say it goes right, But it was interesting because we filmed the last scene, which takes place 10 years later, at a different time, and Marcus didn't he remembered obviously filming the first bit, but then he's like, "Oh, this is the catharsis moment." I like this because I'm filming it looking different with a beard and rugged, and yeah, it's like good. Glad you like it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, we do film a lot of stuff out of order just because the ability to do a flashback or a post scene or a cameo scene, like it adds a lot to throw in. And if these people can look quite different, either by de-aging or by different hair, it adds a lot to throw in.
Indeed.
Lots of depth, lots of layering to these fan
It
films.
is. And a lot of it was by accident because I was forced to invent new things because of Nim's lack of accidental turning up. And when you're forced to go outside of the confines of the main story to develop small stories, well, then you find these unique things you want to develop. And then, I mean, there's a lot of happy accidents of these two work well in the story, which then leads to other stories and then tells you more about... It'll shockingly come together well. And certainly I've joked about this, but I'm pretty serious that when everything is done, whatever year it's going to be, we'll get the entire cast back together, having all retired from this project, I mean, and watch them in order. And that'll be like an entire day, and everyone will be de-aged, and everyone will be up-aged. So it'll go from chronological, because chronologically everyone has these stories that intertwine, and to see when the steps of the journey, you know, and some stories take place like a week later, and to see if the tone matches of like where they are despite being filmed out of order with no intentional context will be super fun. Especially if there's time travel plots, then you'll see like Time Heist before other films. Yeah,
You
exactly.
do a supercut when you're done of all of them in chronological order.
Yeah, and see Nick slowly age for the films.
No, but you're right. I mean, there's so much stuff coming up, and there's so much cool. And as Stuart says, I mean, it really is there's some real layers to it all.
Mm-hmm.
And as an actor, that's nice to play.
Mm-hmm. It's been very rarely a retcon. Almost always just fitted in, and like, damn, that is luck / well planned / I mean, I try not to write stuff that doesn't work. So obviously, it needs to work before I even put it in the script. But let's hear from a different hunter. We've seen Voyagers in TNG. This is a whole new hunter. World exclusive, pretty much. You ready? Guys, you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I do it anyway. No, that's too harsh. I do it anyway. Helm, on my mark. Make it count. Do it.
Just try a few, because I think it will do it fine when you find it.
I do it anyway. Helm, on my mark. Make it count. Do it.
And give some micro expressions on just like let us see the choice of sacrifice. I want to see those little things.
I do it anyway. Helm, on my mark. Make it count.
A
Do
little,
it.
a little half almost tearing at make it count. Like just a little bit of like half a second, like oh, fuck. As I say, let it count
Okay.
though.
Got it.
Yeah.
I do it anyway. Helm, on my mark. Make it count.
Yes, but don't pause. Just straight into make it count.
I do it anyway. Helm, on my mark. Make it count. See, I changed tone too quickly there.
I liked it though.
Okay. Sorry, I should have just kept.
Yeah.
I, on my mark. I do it anyway. Helm, on my mark. Make it count. Do it. Ah, that was shit. Actually.
It's good. I just need to do it to be then pull back.
Yeah.
Do it.
I do it anyway. Helm, on my mark. Make it count. Do it.
Nice. Try one more without as much of a pause because of times of the essence. But that's very useful.
Pause just feels natural, which is why I keep doing it.
I know.
It's kind of inadvertent.
Try without at the end.
Okay. Without the pause before I say do it?
Less of a pause.
Less of a pause, okay.
Just a little less.
I do it anyway. Helm, on my mark.
Oh, the drama.
There you get the example of Samuel's directing.
Indeed.
It's a good case study I didn't necessarily watch beforehand, so that's that's whatever I said.
Thank you, Trekyards. That's very kind of you to say. I used to really hate hearing the sound of my voice on anything really, And while I still don't love it, I've definitely gotten much more used to it. Probably from years of having to edit video footage with myself in it. You get used to it. But yeah, thank you. That's very kind of you.
And just remind everyone out there that we have the new USS Titan crew member perk available. The Titan is appearing in fan films. My God, Riker's ship. Because Harriman, I had this idea one day and it's ended up being very, very useful. He got moved over to the Titan. He was suggested by Geordie, and now he's second in command of engineering, which isn't really a role, but it's still a function is what he's doing. You know, he's still...
Assistant chief engineer is a thing.
Also, that's a better way of saying. So much better way of saying. Oh God, that's such a obviously. Hell of a promotion though for Harriman. Sorry, Nick, he got a promotion. You know, sorry, he got there in the end. So if you want to be a crew member of the Titan, £15, not a lot. Fun credit. We'd love to see at least one of those taken up this live. All goes towards the cause.
Link is posted and pinned at the top of the chat, guys. So check it out. Still need another 4 likes to get to 50. So hit that like button if you're just joining us or if you haven't hit it yet. And we need more super chats.
Yes. Questions, comments.
Remember,
and
they
thoughts.
count double. They support Trekyards and they also support the Indiegogo campaign. Because if you put in 20, we'll match the 20 to put to the Indiegogo campaign. So your $20 is worth 40.
That's a great deal.
So everyone threw in 5 right now. You know, 5.
Nice quadra course.
Yes. You know, 10 5s right now will go a long way on both things. Just be back in 1 second, guys.
Donnie, it's definitely worth getting yourself a green screen and having some fun with it.
Yes, I'm actually going to be getting one soon because there's a good deal on one in Amazon, and I want to pick it up because it's very handy.
No, they are. They're really useful, and actually, they're not that expensive. The lighting can be more expensive, but the green screens themselves are actually pretty reasonable.
Yeah. And nice storage case with this one. It packs up nice, and it's like 6 feet by 6 feet, so good size.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, do you have a green screen at your house there, or do you film anything there?
We used to. Way back in the day, we used to film in our spare room, but our spare room is now our daughter's room and has been for about the last 12 years. So that doesn't really work anymore. And then latterly, we used to film in the kitchen, but we just don't have the space anymore. We've got too much junk, and also we tend to have so many people in that's not practical. So quite often, I either rent space to shoot in, or we use the Abbey Theatre in Arbroath, who a lot of our cast have come from there. So we usually kind of come to an arrangement with them, and that's where we were shooting this last Sunday. Actually, we were shooting on the stage in the Abbey Theatre, which was really useful because we can use that. We can supplement our lighting with their stage lighting, and that's quite helpful.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow.
Although we almost rented a space for Convergence, but I'm really glad we didn't, because that would have been like £900 that clearly we're not getting easily. So that would have been like real extra, you know.
And I think ultimately what you do, I mean, I was a strong advocate for renting a space, but I think ultimately what you did worked very well. And I don't think the benefit we would have got from having a bigger space would have been worth the expense in the long run. So yeah, I think that was the right call. Well, it was the right call. There's no think about it.
Yeah. If it was easy to get the funds,
we were really cramped together for that briefing scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, my knees are touching your knees. Ooh.
But that's also just the wide angle lens. I mean, I always say, you know, this you're too far apart. And it's like you're not, but on the camera it looks unnatural. So but it looks perfect on camera, and that's honestly the most important thing. And then when you have Marcus in the scene, his legs are so big that just to even match Marcus's relative sitting down, I mean, like you gotta get close because he's so big, etc. Dear me.
Mm-hmm. I that's quite funny, Gorgonzola. I'm not sure if she'd let me do that, but hey, you never know.
Bright Starline says I have a vintage blue screen. Now, have you worked with blue screen at all, Samuel, or would not work at all, really? No, it's harder to key out because there's more blue in things than green.
Yeah, I did temporarily. I did Stargate Universe Distant Hope on blue screen because that's what they had. However, I shot some on blue screen, some on green screen, which was funny because the entire room was blue, but I set up a tiny green screen because they were wearing black for some scenes. The black is so much black and blue and black that you pretty much, it's hard to key. That's why green is great. However, green and skin tones are closer, but it's better for clothing. And also green reflects on the skin a lot more, and Alexa has a very reflective skin. So she had a lot of that blue, green spill. But blue has its purposes, you know. But yeah, it's so you have to also make it brighter. Green innately feels bright. Blue sort of sucks more lighting. So it's kind of dark blue in the blue screen. You'd think you go for blue, bright blue, but they only sell like dark blues. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah.
Thanks to Grant and Squadra Course for the super chats. Much
Excellent.
appreciated.
$10. Appreciate the fan films. Thank you, Grant. That's for 20. So good job. And Squadra Course, $2. A super chat to say thank you for the super chats. We need more thank yous for super chat.
Yeah. Well,
More
on
super
that
chat thank yous.
note, let me throw another video behind the scenes in the in the Rumble then. Let's do a Nim and Nick one. Not a very long one, but there they go.
Been standing here for sorry. Oh, I can tell. I've been standing here for about 10 minutes. You never noticed.
Really?
No, I'm only joking. Only a second.
I wouldn't have been surprised. Come and have a look at this.
Sorry, was I too far back?
Well, it won't be supposed to anyway. This is just for us rehearsal.
Oh, okay.
Right,
I'll just go a bit forward. Okay.
I'm going through new long-range scans.
Lovely.
Oh, well said.
I'm going through new long-range scans.
Oh, I always think
I
there's
was
more
waiting.
to this line.
I was waiting
So I was waiting to be like, okay,
I was
yeah,
waiting.
go on. You're staring at this. Yeah, maybe just be like, I'm going through new long range scans.
I'm going through new long-range scans.
Any answers?
Yes and no.
The more I know, the more I can help.
In Kirk's day, sensor tech was
No,
pretty...
the control's down there.
Okay. In Kirk's day, sensor tech was pretty basic. The Romulans, in an unexpectedly generous move, shared their long-range telemetry.
Romulans are known for their sense tech.
Exactly.
Been standing here for sorry. Oh, I can tell. I've been standing here for about 10 minutes.
Yeah. The fun we have. And it's funny then, because when obviously you see the final, it's just them being good. And the rest of it is just having to get there.
I mean, half of it is me just goofing about, to be honest. So,
Yeah, speaking of, there you are, Mr. Goof. There's another behind the scenes picture.
Mr. Goof.
Yeah, that film especially, the one we just played a clip from, very excited for that. And that is a CGI powerhouse of effect shots. Some of these, having done so many, you kind of know when you have good stories, like really, like that's a good story. And that one I wrote in 2 days, and it's a long film. And some are really challenging. Some just, you're sort of forcing creativity either way because you've got deadlines to write for. Like this Regia one, I've got to write pretty quickly. But that one just sort of zoned right through. And I'm hoping this one will be similar because it's a similar-ish vibe, obviously with more temporal elements. But it's fun. That one's going to be good.
Yeah, I am looking forward to that one because there's just some great stuff with Nim in it.
It's also the most like one of the most Star Trek episodes we have. Like it has a structure, like a proper episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Nick, do you memorize your lines and like the whole script, or do you just kind of get?
Did you see that clip
for the scene?
Stuart?
I did.
I can learn lines quite quickly, but I need to rehearse them. I'm one of those actors that really needs to rehearse their lines and run them a few times. Once I've run them a few times, I can usually get them. Usually.
Yeah, it's kind of like me. I can't really memorize the entire script, but yeah.
I mean, if I had unlimited time, I probably could, but yeah.
But I feel, just from my perspective, I think you just forget stuff as quick as you learned it because you got, only so many.
Once the scene's done, you don't even remember it anymore.
Until you say, right, well, do the whole scene again from Alexa's close-up. It's like, we just did a 3-minute scene. We got it all.
I mean, I would point out, I pretty much had my lines learnt the last time we shot.
Which was that? Which one was that?
Alexa.
Yeah, well, you felt pressure because Alexa.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You're like,
And
she's
I
actually
knew
prepared.
that. I knew that scene in that scene from Convergence that we had to pick up. I knew that scene as well. So
Yes, that was a big one. Yeah.
yeah. Although to be fair, I didn't have too many lines in that. But
How much notice do you get for a script generally? Like, do you get it like the day of, or I know Samuel's like
anything
writing
from a
stuff, like,
couple of weeks
last minute.
beforehand to the morning of, depending on what's going on. Battle of Velsac 2 was the morning of. And that was just, events that were going on. Sam had to write it the night before to give us something to do that day. So, but the nice thing about that, because of the documentary format, I could just read it off the auto cue. And I'm fortunate in that I may not be the most amazing actor ever, but I can cold read. And some people can't cold read, but I can.
I can.
Yeah, so that's that for that kind of thing. That's a really useful skill, and it's probably one of my more useful acting skills is that I can just cold read if I need to.
Because learn 23 pages of entirely monologues. That's what it is in essence. Because docs, you don't have to be short with them. In fact, it's discouraged. Because I personally would probably feel somewhat gypped if it was like a 6-minute documentary film. You barely got started.
Yeah.
Especially as you're writing 6 pages, it's going to be like 3 minutes because you're just able to read. So you got to, yeah.
Well, my next question is for Samuel. You have to come up with names of planets and things like that, like Valsac too. I was joking, call it Ballsack too, but
I knew where you were going with that.
Where do you come up with the names? Is it a random name generator?
Yeah.
What about character names as well?
At the start, it was really difficult. I've got just better. For the most part, they're just out my arse. I don't know.
Research Technobabble?
Yes. I mean, I try and keep everything consistent because we would judge Trek for it. So I'd be a hypocrite if I'm complaining Prodigy for not bothering to check until... Now, if it's entirely bullshit situation, you can have entirely bullshit solution, right? If a gas cloud is phasing out of temporal stasis, you could throw a neutron beam.
With a mixture of chronotons and...
Yeah, that's fine.
Sprinkling.
That's fine. But a lot of stuff has to be grounded in more what we've seen before. Or you simply pick a particle that means something and therefore it plays into the story. And now I've just got better. But I do definitely... And one thing I will say, I try and almost entirely use alien names for side characters. Because we are not limited to our makeup choices if they're referencing an alien. So anyone will say, Lieutenant Random Nell. Like, what the hell's Dryzell? That's not a... But it's good, it adds a bit of texture. It's not... Lieutenant Pete! Bob! No, he's a fun alien name. It sounds a bit more production value-y while not really being. So that's the thing I try and do. But planets are kind of hard. Until you sort of just... you always pick a letter that you haven't used before. And then just kind of go from there. Well, I was worried no one could say Velsac. For whatever reason, how it's spelled. And then we sort of said on the set, like, yep. Gonna work. That hard K. Velsac. Yeah.
Ballsack.
Sure.
He hates us so much for that.
Well, I'd hate you in general, though, Stuart. So who's to say?
Oh my goodness, so mean. I have feelings,
Well, do you? But I'm looking back at the Indiegogo page, though, Nick, briefly, and I shot off 8 interiors. And this will fantasy to you as well, Stuart. What are the CG sets do you think are you most... That's a cool set that I'm going to recreate. Like, what are you most excited to see on the screen, and do you think it's been replicated sort of best, would you say? Or that you've seen in the film so far. I'm not saying of the ones you haven't seen, obviously.
Oh, the Excelsior Bridge really impressed me that I've seen. That's really fantastic. And just stuff like corridors. Honestly, that's a great place to have a conversation, and nobody ever really creates them, right? They always want to be like on a bridge or whatever. So I think those are the best ones. But the Excelsior Bridge is very, very impressive.
Nick?
I couldn't pick one. I mean, they're all great. I mean, I actually know I have a soft spot for the Intrepid Mess Hall.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
I also really like the Runabout set.
Mm-hmm.
And the Intrepid Bridge.
Yeah, and the briefing room, actually. The briefing room looks really good there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Knowing when to have reflections. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's tricky because not all sets work as well, especially with depth. And certain angles, you know, because obviously when you're filming, when they were filming for real, there's 5 actors in a briefing set, well, one angle could be kind of naff. And you know, there's one shot come up in Emma's next film released next week where I just did it. So where I didn't quite, the angle to see her face does not equate to the best view out the window. So she's kind of angled slightly off, or the shot is, but I'm like, well, I need both.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know what I was going to have behind her, so I'm like, well, because that was a, you know, what is a mess hall of a Constellation class? That's a new set, isn't it? Versus, you know, if you, I mean, I don't know about you, Nick, but certainly if I throw you on the Intrepid Bridge, like I could blindfold and walk to every station pretty easily. Same with Galaxy, same with the TOS. Like there's a certain instinctive, and I certainly in some of these films, if I'm very like tuned on, I could very much look and like, okay, well, shooting over there, I'm entirely seeing not the VHSs on the shelves, but the set. I'm not seeing real, and I know what's meant to be there. You know.
It's funny you should mention that actually, because I remember, and I mean, I possibly know this stuff better than some of the other people on my crew, and I remember on more than one occasions when we've been shooting stuff, having disagreements about where things are supposed to be. It's like, no, that is over there. No, it's not. It is over there. No. And having to like pull out pictures and say, right, look, this is where we are. Oh, okay.
That's great.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just an inherent problem with green screen, because it's like, unless you know these things in and out, and you do know these things in and out, it is, and I'm not perfect by any means, but trying to line up where these things are on a green screen and orient yourself, even for the guy running the camera, is very difficult. So again, that's one of your strengths. You can do that.
Well, it does help that when I was forced to learn the texturing, I'm also spending hours fixing polygon errors, moving around the set. So I've had to sort of gain an intimate knowledge of them because I am texturing them, which obviously has really helped because I know where everything is, and it's been really fun. You know, we've got so many sets now that when you need something that's a smaller used set, often, well, that's a chair from this era, that's a this from that era, that's a console from that era, and then once I've been texturing things, I can recognize, like the runabout back station, the back area, the console that Data uses is just the Defiant crew quarter console. Right. So they just moved it. Why build a new one? And so I said to the guy, just nick that, and he did, and that was finished quicker, and that's been really fun to kind of learn when things are used. You know, for a different fan film, not one of mine, but it's a 29th century time ship, and they relatively used the Excelsior chairs. So like hell, I was going to skip that tradition. For some reason, fashion came back around for that classic chair, because that's what they had, you know. And I certainly, when I do new sets, I entirely stick to the logic of, this is a soundstage, either TNG or Voyager. We've got these standing sets. We can modify them this much. That's what we should stick to. You know, I'm not going to suddenly invent a room 4 times as big as they could build, because instantly you'll feel out of place. That's part of why Stranger Worlds feels out of place if you're thinking to how it should look, because everything's just bigger for no good reason, and it just feels bigger. So I want everything to feel grounded. So, you know, it helps have a limitation. You know, if I ever build a new transporter room, I will use the transporter room built for TMP, used in all the future Star Treks, because that is the transporter room. You can modify the details, but that's always how it looks, you know?
Now, Nick, when you have to push buttons, do you actually think about how it looks? Because that's one thing that really annoys me in fan films, where it's like, alter course. Yes, sir. It's like you didn't have to do that to.
I certainly try, but it's really helpful if you've got someone that can direct you and tell you how it's looking, because again, this comes back to performance as well. You can't see what you're doing, and there have been a few times Sam's told me to move my hands, slow down, stuff, because I mean your reaction is you don't need a lot of movement, but it's difficult to know what you're doing unless you're getting feedback. So that, again, that's really helpful. Samos gives us feedback on that stuff, and I'm trying to incorporate what I'm doing there into my performance, but I'm basically stabbing in the air, and I'm not hitting anything, but I'm trying to imagine these consoles here. But I try not to do this because that drives me nuts as well.
Now, Sam, have you ever filmed a scene where somebody has to interact with a console, and when you actually go to apply that, it doesn't quite match up, so you got to change some heights or anything?
Yes.
So hesitant.
Many a time. And in fact, for a long way from home, to try and remove the button problem, I had Nim touching a station, and then she ended up having this routine of every take where she would reset her panel. It's not a panel. It's a series of books covered in a blanket because it muffles the sound, because you could hear it and you shouldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
And she would do a thing every take to reset her blanket panel. Because I mean, you form a structure when you're using this in a certain way, and that was quite cute. So, but I mean, things are filming such quick turnaround that it's, and also if you commit to having a console, which will always be a fake version of the console, because we're not going to build any real consoles. Once you commit to that, you've now lost the actor's legs and their arms. You've now committed to that height, that weight, that width. Mm-hmm. Nothing you do can save that shot if you ever say, "Oh, I'll put them on a standing console," well, his legs are gone. So yes, there's a problem of that might not line up, but at least you have the clip, the full clip. So
there's a lot of forethought that goes into staging these scenes. Then
no, that's not practical. Consoles I try and avoid in general. It
doesn't sound too convincing.
Yeah, there's so many scenes, Stuart. They vary. It's like I wish I had the full space temporal anomaly, which obviously Nick had seen the studio space, to have walking shots. I miss walking shots. My God, some of the best shots in temporal anomaly were them like able to run through a set, and then put them in the deep background and see the depth. You just can't do that. You just can't do it on these sets, which is lucky that we have, because originally the thought for the second set of shorts was going to be we go to Northampton, we try and book the studio space, the new version, work around the campus security, having to all of us get hotels, not have access to any of my equipment because we're not near home, have to get a taxi or a bus every single morning to the campus, be thrown out at a certain point or get leeway, deal with the echo, which would be substantial, to gain the green screen space. Once we, and obviously we couldn't have shot 50, 60, 70 days there would be entirely impractical. So once you commit to just do it in the home studio, it suddenly makes a single setting down scene infinitely doable. And that's kind of dangerous, because then you can tell these tiny films that, yes, okay, only one actor, fine. But you're getting a good story. Yes, only one actor, but, if only, if there's budget to do, we'd do more. And obviously it's being very difficult to raise budget right as it is. So, doing those simple films cost less, and they're getting a lot of them. So, obviously I wish people were donating more to see more, because it makes you feel almost regretful of trying to organise big films, because, $1,200 at a pop, well, I need to get that back,
So go donate.
Yes.
Check out Indiegogo. Check out the perks. Pick some cool perks.
Please donate. If for no other reason, to save Sam from bankruptcy.
That'd be nice.
To prevent him from whining, because I have to hear it all the time.
Well,
just kidding, Sam.
Yeah.
That's a good enough reason.
Yeah.
How about your captain? Oh
yes.
my God.
But can we get another $20, guys? Because that is another $40, really.
Yes, they're all doubled. So another $20 in super chats would be a great way to end out.
Stuart,
closing out soon here.
Stuart, do you have any quick fire questions for Nick? As we are, final $20, guys. $20, come on.
Favorite Hunter moment?
Oh, jeez.
So many to choose from now.
Yeah. You got like a legacy almost.
We're actually releasing a film at the end of this month, and yeah, there's a couple of fun bits in there that actually I'm quite fond of, but it's a very different kind of film for us. I'm not going to say any more than that. But favorite Hunter moment from probably Trek shorts would be so hard to choose.
Sorry, I hate
Yeah.
these questions myself, so sorry I asked.
I am probably going to say in the film with Nim, which Sam showed that clip from a little while ago, there's a confrontational scene between Hunter and Keeley, which I think I had a lot of fun playing off of, and I'm interested to see how it comes out. That's certainly up there. I also, again, as well, the film with the scene with Marcus at shop, certainly there's a very serious scene between the two of us at either side of the table, which is actually really looking forward to seeing that. And I'm on the day that played out really nice. So yeah, they're certainly up there. I mean, there's so many to choose from, and actually some of them I've probably forgotten, to be fair. It's really difficult to pick a particular moment that really sticks out. Anything from Battle of Velsac 2, I really like that, and that one for me really kind of, yeah, that's a very fond memory. And also Pursuit of a Dream, which Sam directed for us, which again, anything in that was really great. The final scene in that,
one of my favorites.
That is probably one of my favorite Hunter scenes, and it's not even Hunter that makes that scene, it's Matt Hodson, but it's just a nice scene, and I'm really proud of the writing on that one. So and the performance, I'm actually competent in it. So yeah.
I did make you, like, I wasn't going to take a take until you did a good take. Like, I was.
So yeah. So
well, in fairness, you did then
so
pick
many.
the take after I made you do the take. So like you edited it then, so that was up to you to put together.
But there's so many, and it's really difficult to pick just one.
What-
And just the whole experience for me is just, it's fun. That's why I probably can't pick particular ones, because there's so much of it that's just been fun, and there's so many good memories tied to all of these things, just with friends and actors and so forth.
And fair to say you've done more Trek in the last 2 years than you have in the previous 19.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
The fact that I have to think about it says a lot, so that's good.
Yeah.
Matt Boardman, though, threw in $20, so thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you kindly, Matt.
Nicely. I do have another question from Nick, though, before we end out. So your character, Hunter, like, it'd be cool to have such a well-versed character in universe. Have you thought of backstory? That's stuff that you might never actually have on screen for the character, but just to make him the man that he is?
Well, can I jump in there briefly? Just briefly jump in there. I loved that I was very explicit on when we go back to earlier versions of your character, what ship you're flying, and you knew what the ship name was and the class was, and then I got to bring them to life. So that was very satisfying to me, because you had this backstory, but like, hey, here it is. Here's the ship. Right, sorry.
Yeah, Hunter definitely had a backstory when I created him, and that has evolved somewhat over the years. But interestingly, certainly the stuff I've done with Sam has padded that out a fair bit. And I think some of the events that have happened to younger Hunter in the Trek shorts definitely inform the character we see later, and I think really does add depth to the character when we see him the first time in our first film, which is many, many years ago. But that I don't really want to be captain, and I think that gives some insight into why he probably didn't want to be the captain at that point, because every time he's been in command of things, bad things have happened, and he probably feels responsible for that. So he's kind of stepped back from that, and that'll make more sense when you see some of the stuff that's coming out. And a lot of it's not stuff that's necessarily his fault, but he does feel responsible for.
And any character quirks that he has, like that Picard likes reading Shakespeare, or playing flute, and Riker has the trombone.
We did play around with Hunter playing the trumpet in our first film, and then never did it again. Mainly because I used to play the trumpet a bit when I was a kid, and I still have one. But I can barely get a scale out of it now, so I decided that wasn't such a good idea. Also, it's quite reflective if you put it in front of a green screen, so that's not so good either.
Yeah.
Particular character quirks. I mean, God, I don't know now, actually.
And are they just, if you do have any, are they distinctly the character, or are they something that you enjoy as well, that you just kind of migrated over to the character?
So one of the things I had was Hunter was a bit obsessed with, 23rd century Starfleet history, and had a bit of an obsession with time travel, which is where we got into some of the stories with Sam, actually. So, I mean, if you look in his ready room, he's got original series era props in there. Well, sorry, weapons and stuff in there. So, there's that whole gag about his phaser being, this is the actual phaser Garavik carried on Andoria. And it's like, you can buy a case of these for 100 credits on
made on Andoria. That's weird. That's not
Garavik used on Andoria.
Yeah,
it's a reference to Starship Exeter.
Yeah,
but it's funny.
Garavik's phaser from Andoria.
But it's funny because the time travel thing was such a happy accident, because you never time traveled once in your films, and that
we had. We did. Yep, we did.
Which
I
one?
forgot the name of it, but we did.
Because I watched them all back to back.
Definitely did. We went back in time to 21st century Earth. We visited an observatory.
Yeah,
and
but
we
like
altered the timeline.
Yeah, but like real time travel in like previous eras. I mean, like
Well, no, we haven't traveled to previous Star Trek eras, but we had traveled into the past.
Okay, fine. But anyway, so I realized like that I liked the idea that as a fan filmmaker you hadn't used that as a big concept. So I liked throwing you in as like now he's an expert in convergence, because that would be funny for him to say as a catchphrase of I hate temporal mechanics, and the secondary quotes because I know so much about it, because only those who know it can hate it because they truly understand it.
But interestingly, that works really well because, in the one we did, Hunter and for Intrepid, we do use the light speed breakaway technique to travel into the past. So,
yeah, it actually worked really well because he's an expert, and Alexa knows him as an expert, so he's kind of given a famous legacy, which was a joke in Convergence, became a real joke, and then when we did the Convergence again, that didn't make sense anymore because now you've actually done the time travel stuff and you're now famous for it, so we had to change the tone of the lines because now it was a real note versus a joke note. And that's part of why you're doing Time Heist, because he does understand and will have a correct amount of reverence for time travel, which is fun because of the three characters. This is entirely organic. Nick has a specific knowledge of temporal ethics. Maybe he hasn't done all the experience of traveling time, but will probably not want to break the rules as much as other people would, so that's useful. Keeley is she was the night shift Defiant pilot, so she actually has more knowledge. So who are you going to send? Jadzia, her, or the few other people? There's not many people who know Defiance. She's a perfect choice. She knows Hunter, perfect. They have chemistry, great. Done another mission together, great. They've got that rapport. And then Reed also has temporal knowledge in a different context to Nick, so she has another brain power to bring in. And so those people work together in one unison story. Happy accident / wow, it works.
Absolutely.
And on that note, I think we should probably wind it down here. So thank you to Nick for joining us. Much appreciated.
Thanks for having me.
It's been great. And I'm looking forward to all these little teasers and tastes of what's coming up. I'm looking forward to seeing so many of them. So hopefully you guys are as well. If you are, please click the link that's pinned to the top of the chat and also in the description down below, so that you guys can go check out the campaign and contribute to it, get these things made, and get the perks that you guys can take advantage of. There's a lot of cool stuff there.
Broad variety and all different price points. I mean, if anything from barely nothing to whoa, that's a lot of money. It's up to you guys.
Please chip in if you can. Like, every penny really does help, and you will see it on screen. I mean, it just makes such a difference. And it's the difference between Sam being able to afford to actually cover somebody's hotel expenses or not. So it really does make a huge difference.
Yeah, these are real numbers. These aren't theoretical numbers, and we're not spending $1,000 on a costume. Or these are built up numbers because the amount of cool stuff. And Nick knows sort of how much stuff we've done. Not got all of it, but he knows a lot of it.
I mean, hey, I bring my own costumes, so.
Yes, you do. I still got you some. I still got you some though.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you?
One in particular.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough.
That you said you want to wear again, but I'll make you wear again if I want to. Anyway, but yes, 15%, £4,707, guys. 13 more days to go. We plan on getting Emma next week, which is great. She's the sort of famous YouTuber. I'd like to. I'm trying to get him on right at the end of the campaign. The famous Anna Keeley, who, as you can see, leads the pack on both of these posters, as she is amazing. So hopefully that'll be a nice chance to get some exclusive info from her. And she has 5 shorts, so you can really, a lot of knowledge in the fan film world to talk about, etc. But yeah, every dollar helps, and hopefully we can get. Oh, we just got a new donation from Ozzy. Yes, he got a Titan crew member.
From Ozzy, yeah.
Excellent. Haha, Titan crew member. His name is gonna be everywhere. Glad someone got that, because that was a fun perk. 4,722.
All right, guys. So thank you, Nick, for coming again, like I said, and thank you everybody out there for watching. We really appreciate all you guys. And if you're watching this after the fact, consider doing a super thanks, and also check out the campaign. It's really important. So limited time, limited perks. So go check them out.
Yeah, lots of stress.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for everybody who's asked questions and who has chipped in. Even if it's just been a couple of pounds, it's really, really, really helpful and very much appreciated.
And we are going to have fun at Time Heist, because that's a good story, and I can't wait to see the hell I write for it.
We're going to heist some time.
Yes, we are. And temporal investigations will have words. That's going to be in the story, because I'm excited to see.
Those guys again.
Those guys again. And check out Stuart's live tonight talking about Prodigy, the new episode, and us tomorrow about Prodigy, the new episode, and Saturday about the Dauntless, and Sunday about some sort of interview, and Monday about something else, and Tuesday about... You guys know the drill.
All the content, guys. But yeah, join me tonight. So until later, until next time, he is Commander Cocking.
He's Captain Foley, and special guest...
Some guy.
Playing...
Captain Hunter.
Yes, there he is.
Captain.
So fancy in his uniform.
All right.